Hi there, it's Caroline Strawson here, rapid transformational therapist, specialising in helping you self-heal after narcissistic abuse and codependency. So today I want to talk to you about a phrase I keep hearing a lot of within my free support group on Facebook, and that is, just give it time. Time will heal narcissistic abuse. And as much as I would love to say that that is true, sadly, I'm here to tell you today, and I want to dispel that myth that time will not heal narcissistic abuse. Narcissistic abuse doesn't just happen. It is a series of events and beliefs within you that lead you up to even being a magnet to a narcissist. And very often that is what we call codependency. So when we are a child and our caregivers, our parents, it's their responsibility to instill in us a healthy sense of self. So all of the self-love, self-respect, self-confidence, self-belief, self-esteem, all of those healthy senses of self. So we grow up to be an adult knowing we are good enough, worthy enough, simply for who we are. Now, for whatever reason, when that doesn't happen, now that can be because of major trauma in our childhood, but equally so, it can just be something that you as that child receive messages from your parents or caregivers that gives you an underlying belief that they are acting like this because I'm not good enough, because I'm not worthy, because we don't have that cognitive ability as a child to recognize maybe our parents are emotionally unavailable. They are just doing the best that they can. We don't get that as a child. We will automatically think it is our fault. They must be behaving like this because it is me. And then that creates a subconscious belief of I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. We have a lack of self, which then means we become codependent as adults, always looking externally to other people to make us feel like we are good enough, to make us feel like we are worthy enough. Because we have this great big hole in our soul that was never truly filled in our childhood for whatever reason, that creates then these adults always looking around externally to fill that hole in our soul. So if we don't address all of those underlying beliefs, we are always going to attract toxicity into our life, because we're always going to be trying to prove to everybody else we are good enough, we are worthy enough. And very often when we are coming from a place of codependency, we end up being a magnet to people like narcissists, which is why very often we will end up in narcissistic relationships. We are literally like a magnet to them, because they are just going to get all of their supply of thinking, keep going, keep going, keep going, show me that you aren't good enough, just keep on trying to show me that you are good enough. So you will keep on trying, they will keep on getting all of that supply, and it's a match made in heaven, the narcissist and the codependent. So if we don't address all of that, even though you are out of the relationship with the narcissist now, if we don't change those underlying beliefs for whatever reason that they were formed, then you are always going to have that belief throughout the rest of your life. So when you have triggers coming in, or other friendships or relationships, if we're always from that starting point of not feeling worthy or good enough, we are always going to act a certain way within that relationship. We're trying to get them to fill the hole in the soul. We're looking externally all of the time. But what we need to do is fill that hole in the soul ourselves. So this is when we need to do deep inner child healing. We need to find out why we don't feel good enough. Why don't we feel worthy? What were those reasons? Now for this, with my clients and with the people I work with, I use something called rapid transformational therapy. Now what rapid transformational therapy is, it's a hybrid super therapy combination of hypnotherapy, CBT, NLP and psychotherapy. And what I do is I help my clients go back to the scenes of where they attach certain meanings to these events in their childhood, where they thought in that moment they weren't good enough, they weren't worthy. Because there's obviously, like I said, as a child, we won't look at our parents or caregivers and think, oh, it must be them. They were only trying to do their best. Maybe it was their childhood. That's why they're not showing me the love I know I deserve as this 7-year-old child. We don't have that cognitive ability as that little girl, that little boy. We don't know that. So what we will automatically assume is they are acting like this because I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough. But in RTT, in Rapid Transformational Therapy, I take my clients back to various scenes in the subconscious, and we look at, well, okay, this was the meaning you did attach to these events. And then we change it because you are now an adult. You have different experiences. You are able to see things very, very differently. And because you are in hypnosis at this time and tapping into the theta brainwave and the subconscious, we are able to change all of that. And I help you upgrade your inner child. We look at role, function, and purpose of why are you carrying on feeling the way that you do? What purpose does it have in your life right now? Because remember, the brain just wants to keep you safe and secure. It's not about keeping you happy. It just wants to help you stay safe. So why do you keep feeling like this? Why are you keeping on feeling anxiety? Why do you keep feeling panicky? Why do you keep having all of these locked jaw where you can't speak? All of these things, all of these physical things that are happening in your body. Why is that? Because remember, the brain's job is to keep you safe, and for whatever reason it thinks keeping you where you are right now is safer than maybe feeling some pain and inner healing maybe back from your childhood. Now this could be true in the case of big trauma, you know, because you may have had a very traumatic childhood. But again, when I see clients who've had some of the big traumas in their childhood, I use a technique called EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. So any stuck memories that are there, I help the body and the mind reprocess all of those to recognize it's all in the past. So when you feel in that fight or flight in the moment, as an adult, it's because you feel like something is happening right now. You feel that threat right now. The tiger's about to eat you right now. But you're not in any danger. So it helps process it. But the RTT for me is all about addressing that underlying belief. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. Because when you have that belief and you're a codependent, you are a magnet to a narcissist. So no amount of time will change that belief unless you do the deep inner work. And that's what I wanted to say to you today. What are you consciously doing to change that underlying belief? Because when we can change that underlying belief and you know that you are good enough, you know you are worthy, because let me tell you, you are. When you don't just think it, but you feel it, you will not be a magnet to toxicity and narcissists in your life again, because you won't need to prove to them. You won't need to want them to fill that hole in your soul. You'll stop looking externally for anybody to fill that hole in the soul. Why? Because you have filled it. You can look in the mirror every day and say to yourself, I am enough. I am worthy. And actually feel it. You don't need to prove to anybody else then that you are good enough or worthy, or that if they are happy or they act like this, then that must be okay then and I must be worthy. When you know it, when you know that subconscious belief that I am worthy and I am good enough, because let me tell you, you absolutely are. As that child, of course you were good enough. So a lot of the work that I do is about deep inner child healing, starting from the ground up. Because time, with where you are now, just expecting to heal from narcissistic abuse, as much as the pain will fade, once you get those triggers coming in again, it's just going to keep coming back. It's going to keep coming back. So we have to address and start in your past with the deep inner child healing to then layer up to give you a solid foundation to then go and live your best life. Because you know what? You deserve a life filled with love and joy and connection. So I want you to fill that hole in your soul. I want you to feel good enough. Not just think it, but feel it as well. Because if you're waiting to suddenly wake up one day and think, oh, I'm healed from narcissistic abuse, that isn't going to happen. You have to put in the effort. And if you go and look in my bio, you will see that there's lots of links that I can help you with. You can come and join my Self-Healers Circle where you get lots of tools and strategies. I've got some free downloads there for you. You can arrange to have some one-to-one coaching, some RTT or some EMDR with me as well. Because I'm committed to help give you the tools to self-heal after narcissistic abuse and codependency as well. So I hope that all made sense for you as well. And I hope you will take seriously your healing, because this does not need to define you.